What was I like as a baby?
Um, Anthony was just little short, little munchkin, little. He just had a little. He was just a little short, little munchkin chocolate thing running around, And like I said, him and his sister were so close in age, and they were just so close, And he would just be fighting on her and biting on her, but he loved him some her, and she loved him. But they were just really close because they were so young. They were, so close together in age. And he was always doing something that had us, wow, what I'm saying, as far as as he was coming up, he loved to dance, and that was his passion. He's been doing it. He was dancing since he was like 2. And he would be doing the moonwalk and turning, and this, he just always had a thing for dancing. So we enjoyed watching him in that element, And years later, we have moved back to Northwest DC, and I think my son was like 5. Yeah, about 5, and we were living uptown. And my daughter and my son. Well, let me go back. My dad had his own. He had owned his own school. Him and his wife had. It's called Early Preparatory Early Learning Center, and my kids were going to that school for a minute. I was working there, and they were going there. Getting getting the best that they can get out of their young, their learning skills. So, they was catching on to a lot of things, and, and I was really grateful for, them having that opportunity. And it was like a private school that my dad and his wife had, and they got that experience, really young. And after going to that stage, and then they were going into elementary school, they were reading like hardback books, and they were always into reading, because my oldest daughter had them in reading books, and that's the way, they were just always trying to learn different things, which I loved about that. But when my son was like 5 years old, he was in elementary school, and he was really having a hard time. So with that being said, he was having a rough time. This school that he was going to was a open space school, and certain age kids was in the grades, like they were all like the first graders was in with the second graders could see, and I think he had his experiences of being bullied, because he would come home and talk about, that, he didn't like the fact that, how he was being treated. And I figured, you a boy, somebody, step to you or whatever, no matter how old you was, because that's the way we was raised. My mom and dad had 2 kids, and it was like, look, if somebody mess with you, you gotta do what you gotta do. And I'm like, I'm just telling him the same things that was taught to me, and what's good for one might not be good for the other, and he was really having a rough time at school. So the principal had called me a couple of times. Like I said, he was like 5 or 6, and he was explaining to me that, your son is starting to run out of the school. We can't have this, that we have to try to figure out how can we help the situation, or will we have to, eventually let him go? What are you going to do to help, to try to see if we can, come to an agreement to help this young man? So I think that's when I was first sat at a round table at a school with the principal, the vice principal, a couple of teachers, guidance counselors, to figure out how can we help this young man, young boy, was like 5 or 6 years old, to help him, with, it was something that's way greater than what we could deal with. So, I was open to figure out, what do I need to do? I still, in a way, because I be lying, I was still in the mix of my mess, and not, taking what I was hearing, seriously, you know, and what was going on was affecting my son because I wasn't listening. I couldn't hear from the darkness of what my disease was taking me to. So,
hey, I see it. It's the light. Close your eyes. Be your mind. Hey, view my lifestyle and my same pain. It's the lifestyle and the same game. I've been feeling real and I'm feeling right. It's the past life.